Well, you can see that 32 teeth smile. That's what a tech geek is all about when you come out of the new Range Rover Autobiography. Yes, it's a monster. It's a premium SUV. It looks good. This is the first look and exclusive reveal on Tech Today, but there's so much that's changed. In this one from the previous generation, we've been waiting for a few years in terms of tech and design, and hence we have it with us on Tech Today. Let me take you to the front first. Start off with this grille, and you see this is proprietary, very different from previous Range Rovers. It's not some design or just some random animation or something like that. It is really well cut mesh, which makes it look really muscular. And if you're taking it out for a camping trip with your family, well, there's so much more that you can do in this Range Rover. Right here in the back, there you see, it pops up over there. This obviously comes with the vehicle. And then there is all sorts of interesting things that you can do whilst you're seated here. I'm guessing someone my size, my height is quite comfortable. You can have a companion here as well. Well, of course, once you turn the entertainment suite on and you're sitting with your significant other, enjoying the stars up over there, if it's not the panoramic sunroof, you also have a really cool option over here. You lift this up, and once it's locked into place and you lean back, this is your lazy boy experience even here on a camping site. So I think this gives it a very interesting, well, rear experience. Well, then you can't be cribbing about boot space when this is nearly 2,000 liters, like a pickup truck. I think this is Isuzu levels over there. And also, this guy can also go off-roading, but with a lot of tech in the back seat and the front seat. That's what I'm going to show you next once we've closed this already. So let's explain what's happening here on this touchscreen system over here at the back. While I'm doing all of this, I want to take a nice massage. So there's all sorts of options, right? Wave, pulse, pulse duo, hot stones, rolling, up, down, lower back. And boy, the minute it comes on, this is heaven. I could wrap up with a Tech Today shoot and be sat here in the back. When you click on the rear screen option, you have these screens on each side for the driver, which can be connected to HDMI 1, HDMI 2, and then you can have a Fire Stick, put on some other sort of device which you want to watch, increase the brightness, reduce the brightness. But then you'll say, okay, what if passenger number 1 wants to use this device for some content and passenger number 2 wants to use something else? Then Range Rover's done a good job with the business class experience with these proprietary headphones. They're wired, of course, but these headphones will be in the door on either side. Put them on, and then this passenger can watch different content from this passenger and not disturb the driver. But I really can't see myself sitting in the back seat too long, because the real magic in this car happens in the front seat if you want to drive it yourself. Let's go to the front seat now. I'm smiling because it's not about, well, driver modes and seat modes. That's all there, but the handles actually pop out to greet you when you are getting closer to the car. And I think that is quite a sweet little trick and a nice welcome when you're getting to your Range Rover. Look, we've had Mercedes, BMWs, Audis on the show, and they all have very different sorts of approaches to design. The Mercedes and especially the BMW electric have this long panel running across, curved on the sides, very futuristic. But what if you wanted to balance modernity and class and tradition and heritage? That's what this new Range Rover is doing. They've kept the leather where it's needed. They've kept these fancy buttons where needed, and then 2 touch screens. When we're talking about this main touchscreen infotainment system, they call this entire software experience PV Pro. This is proprietary Range Rover. And look, it's not fancy like a Tesla, because a Tesla is more of a software tech company than, I think, an automotive company, while the driving experience is great. You look at this screen and it's very intuitive. The user experience is smooth, it's tactile, the buttons respond really well. You have all sorts of features over here. But things that I find fascinating are right over here in Dynamic I for once. You can change the engine, steering, gear shift, suspension to dynamic, to comfort. And then there's the G meter. Now, what is the G meter all about? The car's in P, so we're safe. I press the brake. The amount that I am pressing the brake with all the gravity statistics is right here. Even if you press the throttle a little bit, there you see. Over here is where you can genuinely understand that the Range Rover is a 4x4, is an off-roader if you want it to be. The vehicle is set in access height. What that essentially means is there are three modes. There is access height. The vehicle within air suspension lowers down to a point where you can access it easily. You can sit in the rear seat with your significant other, or even if you're traveling with your pet, you can also then move into normal mode. It comes up by a few millimeters, and then when you take it to off-roading mode is where all the magic happens. Right now, as you can see, it is at 0.77 meters. I'll tell you why wade sensing and this particular menu becomes interesting, because in the three modes that I was telling you about, you can tell where this vehicle can wade through water. And yes, at this point currently, the vehicle can go in water up to that height. If I click on this button over here, this is something that I find really cool, because the minute you want to go into normal, the car is going to be moving up a little bit. And I'll tell you how it changes the wade sensing altogether. Right now, it's going to take a while, but you click on off-road and the car has now moved much, much higher. I can feel it whilst I'm sat over here. The car is getting elevated first from the back and now from the front. Now this car has a far more commanding presence, and you're high up over there. That also means better off-roading capabilities. And imagine what it means for waterlogged streets all over India, especially from June to September. That's why this becomes a lot more interesting. You can obviously look at all of these functions like dynamic stability control and stuff like that. But now if we go back to the wade sensing place, now you can see that this car can be in water all the way up to nearly 0.9 meters. And believe you me, that is nearly 3 feet, right? So you're high up over there in water and this car is continuing to drive. Now, this is something that I want to talk about. Post-COVID and during the pandemic, a lot of us have been worried about air quality. I'm sat here inside the Range Rover showroom, and even then, if you look at this particular display, it's 15 PM 2.5 on the outside, and because the car's been open for so long, it is on 7 on the inside. That's not very good. It's getting more polluted on the outside. So if I just want to switch on, it's obviously purification, then there's carbon dioxide reduction, and then ionization. This is a proper purification system. You can already see how the interior number has come down to 5. It will be down to 1 if we stay in a closed cabin for longer. Let's click on the cameras. Now, this doesn't look like one of those Chinese vehicles. This is pure class. In the showroom, you can see exactly whichever part of the car you want to, a good 3D representation. You can also see everyone else around here with all the cameras around the car. There's also small features and this detail paid to privacy and security. Something as simple as these buttons. You press them and you have a glove box here and you can close it. You press this, you have a glove box here. Now you'll ask me, why do you need buttons for this? That's because the minute you enter valet mode over here, enter your PIN, this gets locked and these guys get locked. So it's a little bit like a safety locker for you. So obviously you have a little bit of storage over here and you can place stuff. But this is not where we are looking. Where we want to give you a sneak peek is over here in the front. Slide this wooden panel to the front. There's a little bit of storage. You have a USB-C type charging facility here. And then, little inconvenient, but you can place your phone all the way over here for wireless charging. Honestly, this is something that I wasn't very impressed with. In terms of placement, it's a little difficult. As you can see, it's not the most convenient placement in such a big cabin. Maybe this could have been over here, but I'm not nitpicking. You win some, you lose some. To cover up for that awkward placement of the phone and the fact that it's going to be tough dealing with bigger phones like the iPhone 13 Pro Max or the S22 Ultra. The cool thing about that is that Range Rover claims that they've put signal boosters out there. So if you're worried about your phone being in the dark abyss, maybe you'll get good network. Oh, something really cool that I wanted to show you as well was the rear view mirror with the cameras at the back. If there's a tall person sitting in the back, then you have these rear view mirrors which you can adjust with these cameras. And I am fascinated by this. You can see everything happening behind you in crystal clear 4K quality. So the Range Rover Autobiography, exclusively a first look for you on tech today. Look, we've given you a tech geek's perspective, but there's a lot more when it comes to driving this car, which we'll also be getting you in an in-depth review on Business Today and India Today. So stay tuned.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.